Hello friends, I'm here. Hopefully you can hear me okay. There's a lot of, as you can see, there's a lot of extra setup for this morning's stream, because I had to switch around some cameras, one of the reasons I'm running a little bit late. Also, I just had some personal stuff to take care of this morning, so apologize for that, but it's Friday, and I'm moving at the speed of Friday, so... Exiled Faye, hello, why am I here? Hello, why, I very much enjoyed your art stream. I know you were saying that you didn't think it was very good, but I thought your art was adorable. I cannot draw, like, with my mouse to save my life. I have a little stylus that I use with my iPad that I'm a little bit better with. But I also have, this is actually one of the reasons I'm very bad at video games too, I have shaky hands. Somewhat less so since I started taking my anti-thyroid medication, because shaking hands is a thing from overactive thyroid. Things I wish I'd known sooner in my life. But I have very shaky hands, so I cannot draw with my mouse to save my life. I was very, very impressed. And I think it's adorable. So yeah, here I am. We do have Clicky Clack Cam. We will have Clicky Clack Cam when we get to the typing. But I promised you guys that I would introduce you to my homebrew D&D campaign. So if you don't mind having me yak at you for a little while, I will do that. Lowering the DPI on the mouse helps a lot. Good to know. Good to know. I just kind of accepted, sorry, I'm a little bit, flagging me this morning. I just kind of accepted at some point in the distant past that my hands shake, and that's just how it is. Although, like I said, you can't really, I don't know how much it comes through on the camera. I'm pretty steady this morning. I found out after... after my diagnosis in my mid-30s that apparently hand shaking or limb shaking in general is a thing because having an overactive thyroid makes you anxious. You have more of that chemical that makes you feel active, and that can translate to being shaky and not like... I don't think tremors is one of the symptoms. Like, it's not exactly, you don't have like really bad tremors, but you just end up feeling shaky, and some days it was worse than others. So I've kind of just learned to live with it, in all honesty, because it was my normal for a long time. But yeah, I'm here, and we're gonna talk about my homebrew campaign. Let me bring it up. Without inadvertently revealing everything that's in my Google Drive. Because that would not necessarily be the best. This is the document. Perfect. Welcome to Cryptonia. So... basically, when okay, I'm sorry, I'm so scatterbrained, you guys. It's Friday. My brain did not want to work this morning. Basically, I have not run a D&D game in many, many years. Not since pre-D&D 5th edition. And I had the itch because I came up with an idea for a setting that I thought would blend very well with Dungeons and Dragons. Because it's basically just, for me, it's basically just a tool set, it's just a system. And then I build my own worlds for my characters to essentially exist in, play around with, and so on. And then we just use, so all of the traditional, like, D&D races and spells and things like that you find in Cryptonia. I have played with the rules a little bit, just to make things more interesting. So one thing that we established early on for Cryptonia is that necromantic magic doesn't work properly. So things like True Resurrect, which is a spell within D&D, very, very powerful 9th level spell. I just realized I forgot to change the title. Oh no, I did change the title. I was like, did I forget to change the title of stream again? My goodness. True Resurrect is a very, very powerful 9th level spell in Dungeons & Dragons that essentially lets anybody come back from the dead. It doesn't matter how long you've been dead. It doesn't matter if there's a body. You can, if the soul is willing, you can be resurrected. In Cryptonia, that spell just doesn't work. If you attempt to cast the spell, it doesn't function. Lower level necromantic spells like healing, because healing is technically necromancy in Dungeons and Dragons. Healing still works fine. And the revivify spell, which must be cast within 1 minute of death, still works. So if cast within 1 minute of true death, you can still revive a body. But any longer than that, and the magic just doesn't work anymore. There are several ways. There are lower level spells as well that bring characters back from the dead, but they just don't work in Cryptonia. For reasons. I pitched this campaign to my players as Indiana Jones in space. So the idea is that the players are either archaeologists or associated with archaeology in some way. Kali's character, Rin, is actually the muscle. So he's like the security, right? They hire him to protect the stuff that they find. And so he doesn't really have a lot of archaeological necessarily knowledge. And he has set up Bryn so that he's not the most intelligent. But he's still enough related to archaeology that it works, right? I told everyone when they created their characters that they would have to be associated with an archaeological crew in some way. So as long as they were able to come up with some kind of connection, it was fine. The idea is that the world is almost kind of like, if you think of the Fallout technology, where it's like the 1970s version of sci-fi tech, it's kind of like that. They have really rudimentary computers and holographic technology and rudimentary spaceships that can do mostly just in-system orbital things. But the technology isn't like sleek and modern the way that we think of it, the way that we would think of Star Trek now. It's like original show Star Trek, where everything is really campy and silly. Hey, Kademon! I have great news. Maybe not for some of you. Well, what's the news, Kademon? And so the way that people travel in this, basically, instead of having dimensions, because interdimensional travel is a thing in Dungeons & Dragons, each plane is a planet. And the way that characters travel between planets is through a hyperspace train network. And so there's basically these vast tunnels that bore through hyperspace that have trains that carry people to and from different planets. So again, I said I've played with some of the rules. Things like teleportation, you can't use like a teleportation or a planar shift spell because they just don't work anymore. Something interferes with them. They have to use the trains to get around. And what I'm hoping is that as the campaign goes on, the players will have to make decisions about travel based on the train schedule and the train network, and have to be aware that things could happen while they're in transit. Marathnon, hello, it's going well. How are you? Tempest, hello, how are you? I fooled around in Netflix and found a series by coincidence from a book series I really like. And the series is good. It's called Lockwood and Company. Interesting. What's it about, Kademon? Starting to tire, not much else. I know it's late for you, Marathon. Hopefully we can be provide a nice chill, cool down background for you. I hope you've been doing well. I haven't seen you in a while. It's about ghost hunting in the UK. Oh, interesting. So yeah, that's basically, those were the very like basic things about the campaign that I pitched to my players. And they were all like, yeah, sign me up for Indiana Jones in space. Hey, Peter, how's it going? Got my full manuscript review back and got rejected. Oh, Tempest, I'm so sorry to hear that. But someone out there is gonna love it. I just know it. It sounds like you're not letting the rejection get you down, and that's the best way to think of it. Lockwood and Company is a young adult supernatural thriller series written by Jonathan Stroud. The series follows 3 young operatives of a psychic detection agency, Lucy Carlisle, Anthony Lockwood, and George Cubbins, as they fight ghosts known throughout the series as visitors in London, England. That sounds very cool. Sleepy but okay, it's been a snoozy day. I feel you. I'm still in morning wake-up mode. Neo, hello! How's it going? So yeah, what I basically did, once I sort of had some people that were interested in the concept, was I sat down and I created, the world of Cryptonia. And I have a series of Google documents that I wrote out that have information that my players have access to. So my players have access to this document that's on screen right now, in case you guys are like, aren't you worried about spoilers for your players? They have access to this information. At the moment, I'm not talking about anything that involves future plans, aside from maybe I would like to write something that they can discover in universe on stream today, which would be really cool, but it would be based on information that they already have. And so I wrote up a series of documents. There's basically the setting documents, which have the core worlds and their representatives listed in there. So it creates some settings, some NPCs, some places where the players were able to choose to be from. And I created a pantheon for this. The pantheon is sort of central to the setting as well. And I went all in on the mythology, making it a little bit contradictory of itself, as all good mythology should be. But this is basically the welcome document, which explains mostly what I've just been saying. But we're going to basically take the information that's in this document that is sort of basically just an introduction to the world and turn it into something a little more interesting. I'm doing okay, Neo. I learned that just having a young main character is enough to be right. I honestly don't like the young adult label either. When I was a young adult, I read from the adult section and it was fine. I think that people don't know what to do with young protagonists anymore, because they think that for some reason people see. This is why marketing departments ruin everything. It's easier to market to a specific target audience, and it's easier to market a person that's like you to a person. So they created the young adult label essentially to market to young adults, right? This book is written for you. But it's silly to assume that people only connect to characters that are in their same age range or in, their same, like, social class or whatever. And to prove how stupid that is, the primary audience of young adult novels is not young adults, but it's women between the ages of like 30 and 40. So they've created this label of young adult to market to teenagers, and teenagers aren't even who reads those books. It's older women who read those books. So why do we have this label? Why don't we just write books that are about things and people read what they want to read? I won't go too deep down that tangent, but read what you want to read, you know? Read what you want to read. But yes, if you have a young adult protagonist, it's considered to be the young adult genre. And that's it. That's really all it takes. When I was a young adult, we didn't have a young adult section. Same. It was either kids or adults. I think that one Wizard Boy story really kicked off. I mean, I don't know, because I don't think the young adult genre really existed when that book came out either. I always considered YA genre as romance pretending to be something else. It's just marketing department. It's like why there used to be everything used to be divided into a women's and men's section in Target, and it was ridiculous. Like, because it's easier for a marketing department to market someone. They move more product if they market towards a specific. This is why every video game protagonist is a young white male with a little bit of stubble and rock hard abs, is because they're specifically marketing to an audience that is not probably their primary audience to begin with, and second, that they think is like the widest best-selling target audience would idealize themselves in that way. And that's why marketing departments ruin everything. That's my speech. Well, young adult is like the that's a good point, Exiled Fae, but young adult is like the umbrella genre, and then you have like young adult fantasy, young adult romance, which is, again, to me, it just seems pointless to me. Really, it's only relevant if you are writing a manuscript or script and trying to market it. If you have a young protagonist, you would want to target the YA market. That is who would be looking for your book, right? And you would want to know that because you would want to pitch to agents who would want to represent you. And so you would want an agent that handles young adult as the genre, because that's where you would be marketed. And that's it. That's what it comes down to. Peter, I don't understand that flowchart. Are you saying that Kirk is better than Spock? Because I can't accept that. I have mid to late teenage characters, and I've never thought of them as young adult. Yeah, same, but that's just... If you wanna publish a book, if you wanna sell a book, you should know what market you'd be selling in. I prefer Cisco because he nuked a planet. I don't remember that episode. Ebony Priestess, thank you so much for the follow. You've come at an odd time. Welcome in, welcome in. How are you? I'm saying Spock is better than Kirk. Ah, okay. Spock is the best, so... I have to say, Spock is my number one. So if you have anyone above Spock on the list, sorry, but Spock is my number one. Spock and Data are like my two favorite Star Trek characters. How did we get here? We're not supposed to be talking about Star Trek today. We're supposed to be talking about Cryptonia. Janeway did murder Tuvix. That is true. PSA, Janeway did murder Tuvix. He said he didn't want to go back to being Tuvok. Look, Tuvix didn't want to go back. He was his own being. I can understand saving Neelix? I can understand saving Neelix. But Tuvok? Did we really need that guy? Did we really need Tuvok, guys? Did we? Just a question. Oh, I'm sorry, Exiled Fae. I hated Tuvok. He was like the worst Vulcan character in my opinion. But see, this is why Star Trek is so good, because you can have these conversations. all the captains break the Prime Directive and do nonsense when it suits them. That is very true. We're talking about Cryptonias. You guys know that if I get down that Star Trek rabbit hole, we are going to spend 2 hours on that and write not a single word. You guys know this. Yeah, so Cryptonia is, so Tales of Cryptonia is the name of the campaign that I'm running. But it takes place in a place called Ashvalerin, which stands for, or is like a translation of Ashvale or the Ashvale. So it is a largely peaceful galactic empire made up of a diverse group of races and planets that have lived in harmony for several thousand years. But Ashvalerin has hit a wall in terms of technology. They have not been able to figure out how to travel freely from planet to planet without use of the hyperspace train network, which is their fastest and easiest way to travel between planets. Ashvalerin grew up in the shadow of a civilization known as Cryptonia. Tuvix was a character. Oh my god, Neo. I can't tell if this is a troll thing. There was an episode of Star Trek Voyager where, due to a transporter accident, Neelix and Tuvok, two separate characters, were combined into a single person who they named Tuvix, who had his own personality and his own desires. He wanted to bake cakes, you guys, and he was really good at it. And he did not want to be broken back into his separate pieces, but Janeway felt, hey, Angel Faye, we are supposed to be writing a short story today, but we're talking about Star Trek, apparently. And Janeway felt obligated to save Tuvok and Neelix, so she essentially had to kill Tuvix in order to do that. But this is why that episode is a good sci-fi story, because it's how many years later and people are still arguing about whether or not it was the right choice to end Tuvix and save Neelix and Tuvok, or whether that was essentially murder. That is a good sci-fi story. It's making you question what was the right choice. Really, I personally feel like Tuvix wanted to be Tuvix. They should have respected that. But I also don't necessarily think that Janeway did anything wrong by saving two people who couldn't speak for themselves at the time. It's one of those really gray area things that science fiction is really good at getting into, and to me that's what makes it a good and interesting story, that like 20 years after I saw that episode, I still am like, here are thoughts on Tuvix. That's the Tuvix scoop. Is it from the Star Trek with the female captain? Yes. Voyager. I really liked Voyager the first time I watched it. I don't know that it's aged as well as the other series. Wouldn't Tuvix eventually have died of old age or cancer, thus releasing the original two? No, I think if Tuvix had died, I think the DNA would have... He was made up of their bodies combined. When he died, they would have all just been dead. They were... Basically, the way the transporter works is why are we talking about this? It breaks down all of the atoms in your body and then reconstitutes them. So basically, all of their atoms were broken down and smushed together into a single person. So all of the particles that made up Tuvix's body. In order to bring back Neelix and Tuvok, they had to separate the atoms back into two separate people. If Tuvok had died, all of the atoms that made up those two people would have died, and all three of them would have been dead. It is just the trolley problem in space, Sky. You're absolutely right. That's exactly what it is. Neo, I know you're trolling now. Get out of here. The transporter is nonsense. The reason why the transporter existed in the first place was because they couldn't afford a shuttle in the first season of original Star Trek. Fun facts. So, yeah. So Ash Valerin is a... This is the sci-fi that we're talking about, is the one on the screen. Ash Valerin is essentially a galactic civilization that grew up in the shadow of a more powerful, more advanced civilization known only as Cryptonia, because nobody knows what its original name was anymore. It has gotten the name Cryptonia because much of the information that has been found about it from artifacts left behind are cryptic, vague, and difficult to decipher. Hence, in modern parlance for Ash Valerin, people who studied this history have coined the term Cryptonia, and it's stuck, since they don't know what they actually called themselves. Ash Valerin it's the name of an empire of significant size that occupies the majority of a four-armed spiral galaxy similar in size to the Milky Way. It is ruled by a council of elected officials, though the way each council member is elected varies. Most planets elect a number of representatives to speak for and ensure their interests with the council, but the 7 core planets that originally formed the alliance, which became the heart of Ash Valerin, have special powers not afforded to the other member planets. Also, each of the 7 are elected in a different way. For instance, the planet that worships the warrior god chooses their representative via trial of combat, not election. So, yeah. Interplanetary travel, as I said, is accomplished via the hyperspace train network. So it connects all of the core planets and most of the smaller planets within the Empire. There are 2 primary companies that run the interstellar trains, which will hopefully at some point become a thing in the setting. And so Cryptonia was a vast and sprawling galactic empire that had the ability to free travel between planets using faster than light speed engines rather than the hyperspace train network. They were unfettered by the tethers of the network that is used today. Not much is known about Cryptonia or its original occupants, though some ruins of the once great civilization have been uncovered. Many are damaged beyond salvage, leaving only tiny hints of their great creators to interpret. The most relevant information to survive Cryptonia is knowledge of quick and powerful way to traverse between planetary systems without relying on the hyperspace train network. And this is the technology that the people of Ash Valerin covet, because they are sort of unable to expand in the way that they want to without this technology. Their expansion is slowed by the fact that they need to essentially connect their train work to anywhere in order to functionally settle there and make use of it. Is Cryptonia made by the funds from cryptocurrencies? No. So the term Cryptonia was an in-joke among people who studied history. And it was coined because the things that are found from the time of Cryptonia are cryptic and vague. And so they named it Cryptonia. Science is featured, but it's mostly about baked potatoes and different sauces for pasta. DS9 stands for Delicious Sauces 9, and Voyager stands for Very Awesome, Yum, Amazing, Great Edible Roast Potatoes. Peter, I love you. So yeah, that's the basic rundown. Thousands of scientists, mages, and historians scoured the territory known to once belong to ancient Cryptonia in hopes of discovering even a fraction of its secrets. Their holy grail is known as the Cryptic Codex, which is believed to contain the coordinates. I changed the name of that to to something else. I think it was the Oramonte Whoop. There you go. Have a face full of Domarin. It's my actual notes. You'll notice that my season 4 or my session 4 notes have almost nothing. Have almost nothing in them. What did I call it? The Oramonte. Yes, the Oramonte is the device that they're looking for, which contains this secret knowledge. It contains the coordinates of ancient Cryptonia's core worlds. So basically, my characters were sent on a mission to find a set of coordinates, a map to an ancient travel hub for Cryptonia, in hopes that they can sort of unlock the ancient secrets of this universe. Did we ever decide on a drag name? I think the most latest drag name, like the top runner for drag name for Domarin right now is Dominique Slayer. That was the one that I think he has most accepted. Drag Marin. People just love adding the Marin on the end of, because we have Momarin, we have Dadarin. It's so, I don't know why it's so easy to add that onto the end of things, but also, just in case anyone hasn't looked at the Discord or has looked at the Discord and has been very confused, I did throw a new section into the writing area. It's just for shits and giggles. It doesn't necessarily have to be taken seriously. If you want to talk to Domarin, you can go into the Domarin Hangout section and he might answer you. Opinions expressed are Domarin's and not mine. Please don't hold me responsible for anything he says. You guys may have noticed, because there's no way to hide it, that an account showed up on the server called Domarin Lorecast that is officially sanctioned. It is not somebody attempting to steal one of my characters. So yeah, if you want to pop over into that section of the Discord and have some fun, that's just basically what it's there for, is some fun. If you guys like it, we'll do some stuff in there, and if not, no big deal. How much does Twitch chat affect your authorship? Has dialogue or events ever changed directly because of chat? In my main novels, no. In my big projects that I've been planning for years and years, I love you guys. I appreciate your input and your feedback, but those things are pretty set in my head, and I just do them the same way I would do them off stream. And like every now and then someone might throw a name in there that I decide to use, or I think you guys named some heavy metal bands for me at one point, like little stuff like that. But for my big projects, they are all coming from in here, and aren't really affected by me streaming. Little stuff like what I'm about to write today, potentially, or other shorts that we've done, little fun things. Chat can actually help shape those quite a lot. We did a short for the 22 stories in 2022 where I was playing around with a new world. Chat actually helped me create the main character for that short, and she probably will end up being a minor novel character at some point later. At what point would you credit chat for input? If chat does give input, I usually do mention on my blog. So that particular short that I mentioned, I mentioned in the blog that chat input was used to create the short. So I didn't mention specific people by name, just that Twitch chat was that Twitch chat assisted. But that VOD is on YouTube, so people can go back and see the original conversation as well, where I interacted with chat to help come up with that stuff. To credit Twitch chat in a novel, we would basically have to have a massive amount of collaboration, just because like mentioning in the acknowledgements or whatever, hey, some people threw in some input would be one thing, but to actually credit like on a cover, you would have to contribute like a significant portion of the work. I'm not saying this so that you guys, I don't want you guys to get upset and be like, oh, you don't pay attention to what we say. But my big novel projects have been up here for a very, very long time. So there's basically no way to budge me on those things. But I always try to mention on the blog if I've done a short and Twitch chat has contributed something, I always try to mention that. Ignoring chat. Yeah, totally. No. No, I just don't want you guys to be like, oh, why are we here if Megan's never going to listen to our suggestions? Definitely. There was a scene in the Arvalia Chronicles where we were talking about a massive, massive creature that I had created, and chat did make some suggestions about ways to attack it, because I was just musing out loud. A couple of those things did make it into just like as ideas that were spitballed between the characters. Like a couple of those suggestions were thrown in. But I have a very developed idea of my big projects. But I do appreciate you guys, and I do appreciate the stuff that you throw out, and the brainstorming sessions and all that kind of stuff. Like, even if I don't directly use something that chat suggests, inspiration is never wasted. So, and I know for a fact that we've helped other writers with stuff that they've been stuck on. So you guys are great. Hopefully in between all of that Star Trek stuff, I was able to introduce you guys a little bit to Cryptonia and Ash Valorin, which is the setting in which this D&D campaign takes place. Appreciated my stupidity. Neo, don't call yourself stupid. I got thanked in the album acknowledgements of Scott Patterson's Luke from Gilmore Girls album. Nice! Peter, that's awesome. So yeah, basically I want to take the information that is in here. I want to put at some point this on my blog. I haven't decided if I want to just copy and paste it directly, because setting notes don't always work so well as as interesting reading for people who aren't intending to play in that setting. And I'm not necessarily trying to create a RPG supplement. I just kind of want to take my DM notes and turn them into something that people outside of the campaign can read about and enjoy. At some point, I'd like to write some shorts that involve and chronicle what the players have actually decided to do as part of the campaign and some of the crazy antics that they've gotten up to. And I thought it would be a fun and interesting thing to do with my blog, because it would be low stress, and it would allow me to take some of my DM notes and sort of discuss some of the things that I've done as a dungeon master in setting up for the D&D campaign, but also use it in a more creative context. So I haven't decided if I want to one for one copy and paste this into my blog yet, but I definitely want to write something today, and I was thinking like a short journal, like little snippets. It can't be ultra long, because this is something that I'm going to want my players to pick up and read as part of a campaign, like session or in between sessions. So I want it to be short and succinct, so it might not be as long as some of the other things that I've done for the blog. But I did think it would be cool to actually write something about the fall of Cryptonia, something that had maybe survived this calamity, which will give the players some clues as to what may have actually happened. And the cool thing is that one of the characters, Grandal, is a warlock and has taken Eyes of the Runekeeper as one of his arcanums. So he can actually read things that are written in any language. So I don't have to worry that I'm going to put together this really cool resource and then the players aren't going to be able to read it when they find it. How often do people send you their writing for feedback? Is that something you do? I personally don't have a lot of time to read over other people's work and give feedback, unfortunately. I actually offer a paid service for editing. So I have to prioritize my paying customers in order to make sure that they get the time and devotion that they're paying for. And I also prioritize if I have another writer who is beta reading for me, who needs beta reading, I sort of reserve my time slots for them. So I personally don't have a lot of time to give feedback, unfortunately. There is a section in the Discord where if you're looking for feedback, you can post a link and see if anyone in the community has the time to take a look at it. It's not guaranteed. It's all just by whoever has time or interest. Unfortunately, if I gave feedback to as many people as asked me to, I would never have time for anything else. So I have to be a little bit selective on that. But you can pop into, if you're in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, you can pop over into the Discord. There is a seeking feedback section, and you can post there. And I want to go through there more often than I actually am able to. If I have a quick moment, I do try to pop in there, but it doesn't happen very often. I don't want people to get their hopes up that I'll be able to go through their stuff, because a lot of the time, I have a D&D session in 2 weeks that I've been trying to plan for a month and a half to put some things in perspective, and I have been able to write down a handful of notes. So I am just very busy. Is this a campaign that's already going? It is already going. It is happening off stream. Due to time zones, there's no way for us to really stream this. We meet once a month. We haven't met since November. That's why we call her No Feedback Megan. I'm sorry. It's not because I don't want to. It's just because of time. We meet once a month for about 6 or 7 hours on Saturdays to just get through as much as we can. And just, we have a player in England. We have players scattered across so many time zones that it's just hard enough to organize the getting together at a certain time and being on Discord at the same time. If we had to do camera setup and sound check and all the other stuff involved, we would never get any D&D done. So it's not streamed. That's also in part to take the pressure off of some of the people who are participating in the campaign who I think would be less comfortable on stream. But that's why I'm kind of bringing it to my streams in a way. I can talk about it. I can talk about my prep. I can talk about the setting. I can do some development of the D&D here on my stream and not have that pressure. Peter, it's not that we love England more than Scotland. Actually, we were playing D&D with this particular person before. We were playing not D&D, but we were playing an RPG, a tabletop RPG. And that RPG kind of broke up, and Cryptonia was kind of what took its place. So we met that person in person when we lived in England. And unfortunately, we didn't know you at that time, so we couldn't come meet you, which is sad. So yeah, that's sort of the very rough foundation for Cryptonia. I'm trying, like I said, I'm trying to decide how I want to. What I might do is we might switch over to Clicky Clack Cam and just see what I write, see what I end up writing and how long it ends up being. And then I might take some of the information from the welcome document and create a sort of a blog post that includes both. And then keep the journal as sort of separate for the players. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a quick break because we went quite down the rabbit hole on that one. I'm just going to give my coffee a quick refresh. Use the restroom because we've actually been going for almost an hour already. And we're gonna dig in and get started. I have some very rough, sketchy ideas. I know what it was that caused the fall of Cryptonia and basically made it collapse into Ash Valorin. I don't want to outright state what it is in the journal because it's something that the players are supposed to come into slowly. But I basically want to give hints as to what that cataclysm was, as to what that event was that caused this to happen. And the best thing, the thing that every DM wants is for you to throw something at your players and have them speculate for like 40 minutes about what's actually happening, right? So I basically want to create a document that does that. When I write something that isn't my main story, it feels so refreshing and light, for want of a better word. Does anyone else ever get that? Yeah, that's why I actually have these Friday shorts that I do, is because it's something I can do for fun. It doesn't have to be super serious. There's no pressure for it, really. And it lets me free up my brain a little bit. It lets me not have the pressure of deadlines or like a whole bunch of moving pieces to keep track of. It's just something quick and fun for me. And it keeps me fresh when I have to sit down and do the hard work. So totally. That's a good thing for creative people. So I'm going to BRB. I have, like I said, I have some ideas that I want to explore in this. I don't know if it'll be super long. Can the elected officials who rule be elected officials? They're space fish. I mean, there's definitely a merfolk planet, so they might have a space fish who is their leader. It's entirely possible. Also, never apologize for drinking wine, Tempest. I will be right back. All right, I am back. I see there's some discussion of wine. I am a big white wine drinker myself. Not all wines are grape. You can make wine out of other fruits. Strawberry wine is a thing. Some also have other notes like apricot, apple, like citrus are common notes. Depends on what is added to the wine while it is distilling. We live in wine country. I know a stupid amount about wine. I am not a big red drinker myself. I don't like the smoky, earthy flavors. That's more ghost pepper territory. I like the crisper, citrusy, appley, lightness of white wines, but I also enjoy a good rosé myself. So, I've never had a grape that tastes like offensive vinegar. Vinegar is what happens when wine goes off. Honestly, if you are drinking wines, you're gonna end up with a preference. I prefer white wine. Ghost Pepper prefers red wine. It'll just be whatever suits your palate. If you drink a red wine and you don't like it, and you drink another red wine and you don't like it, and you drink another red wine and you're like, what is this piss? Try a white wine. You might have more luck. Also, some people find that white wines are easier to adjust to because they have less tannins. That's what makes the wine taste bitter and dry. White wines can be easier to adjust to your palate, and then once you've drunk white wines for a while, sometimes you become more interested in red wines. Things that I know. I could go to a beach of pure salt and swim in an ocean of vinegar and still wouldn't be enough. Wow. You like vinegar, huh? I think salt can cause kidneys. Kidney stones can be caused by a myriad of things, but salt is one of the things that you should take in moderation in your diet. Yeah, see, Tempest and I are on a wavelength. But if you prefer red wines, like if you like those rich, earthy, smoky tones the way Ghost Pepper does, then white wines are not going to taste good to you either. They'll taste too fruity or too sweet, and you won't enjoy them as much. I like sweeter wines. I have a really cheap rosé that I drink a lot called Pink, which is very sweet. Ghost Pepper hates it. He likes red wines. It's totally cool. It comes down to your flavor palette. It comes down to your preference. There's nothing wrong one or the other. If you really like white wines, you probably won't like reds. And if you really like reds, you probably won't like whites. Rosé is where we can all sort of meet in the middle and enjoy a thing. Second harvest wines are really good. Again, really sweet, but just really good. They leave the grape on the vine until it almost freezes. Ice wine, they leave it on until it does freeze, which is why they're so expensive. Hang on, let's adjust the music here. I know, like I said, I know a stupid amount about wine. We live in wine country. Rosé is the pork of wine, not quite red, not quite white. Exactly. It's where we all meet together and enjoy it. Can you have salt and vinegar wine? Vinegar is what happens when wine goes bad, so... If you want really cheap sweet wine, just go for Manischewitz. I've not heard of that. Ice wine is amazing, but it's really expensive because they have to let it freeze. They have to let the grapes freeze on the vine, which means there's a lot of loss in the process. So they don't get a lot of the wine, so it's small bottles for like $50, which is sad, but if someone offers you a nice ice wine, take it, yo. Champagne is, it's one of those things where any sparkling wine can be dry. If it depends on the level of carbonation, it depends on the wine that's sparkling. I don't like dry wines either, which is one of the reasons why I don't like reds very much. Candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker. Okay, so let's attempt to write a thing. I have increased the size of the viewer here, so if I type, can you guys read that? Does it need to be bigger? If it needs to be bigger, I will embiggen it. Let me know. I want to keep the clicky clacky cam, but I also want you guys to be able to read. So if I do that, you can hopefully read it. Is embiggen a real word? I don't care, Peter. I'm a grown-ass adult. If I want to say embiggen, I'm gonna say embiggen. You guys don't have to read it, obviously. Oh my goodness, why am I so... this morning. You guys obviously don't have to read it. It's not a requirement. It's just if you guys want to be able to see the words, today is one of the days when you should be able to see the words. So do let me know. And the first thing I actually want to do, is I actually want to create a nonsense word, which is maybe a weird thing to say, but I basically want to create a term for something that is unique to Cryptonia that seems like something contextually that might make sense, but isn't entirely clear based on the name of what it is. So I need to come up with a way. What actually might be the best is if I go to, I don't know if you guys can see this. I go to this fantasy name generator. They have long names. They also have things where you can get like consonant heavy, vowel heavy, things like that. If you go for the long name, we might be able to get a really cool word out of this. Peter is a great nonsense word. I've been using it my whole life. Oh, Peter. So, let's see. I want something that doesn't sound like a dinosaur or a Pokemon. I like Lasutlor? Is that... Lasutlor. Lasultor. Or Aliortor. That sounds good too. This is one of those things where if someone walks into my room right now, they're going to be like, I thought you were writing. And I'm going to be like, I am. And they're going to be like, you're just staring at a screen saying nonsense words. And I'm going to be like, yeah. What's your point? Embiggen is recognized by a few dictionaries. Interesting. Well, I can't tell you exactly what I want this nonsense word to mean. That's part of why it's a nonsense word. But it is the context of what the word is going to be is the nonsense word appeared in the sky today. So that's going to be the sentence. The Simpsons have created a lot of words, actually. Inturium. I really like that. Maybe we use that one. The Inturium appeared in the sky today. Now, I don't know if I'm going to use the sprint timer today because I'm sort of just... I'm not necessarily going into deep focus to write what I'm writing. Do you guys want a sprint timer? Do you guys want focus time? Because if there are people who have come here who want to do wording, who want to have that deep focus portion of the stream, let me know, because I will go ahead right now. We will do 20 minutes of hard focus. I will shut up. And we can do the word thing, and talk after, or we can just do little bits and spurts of creative writing today based on whatever's in our brains. Please, please let me know, because this is a productivity stream, and if you guys want that deep productivity focus, if you guys want word sprints, if you guys want the usual... we won't do many of them, but I definitely will do them if you guys want them. So please let me know, because now would be the time. The Chinese spy balloon also appeared in the sky today. That kind of the point is that I want like a word where it's like, this clearly means something, but what exactly is it? I'm just waiting a couple seconds here for the stream delay in case people want sprint timer. Oh, an actual Oh, that wasn't just a joke. An actual spy balloon was spotted over the states. Apparently, Exiled Faye was saying something about if we went to war with China, we don't have enough ammo, and I can't live in a world where I comprehend that sentence, so... The real world is stranger than anything fictional. I mean, but some Yahoo said it on TV is also the world we live in now. And I don't... This is why I write fiction. Okay, if you guys aren't keen for the sprint, if you want the sprint timer... Let me know. But if you guys aren't super keen for it, I'm just gonna go ahead and do some clicky clacking. I'm gonna freeball it, I guess. I also don't watch TV. Clicky clacks are going to happen either way, but if you guys want the deep focus of the sprint, please let me know. I'm perfectly happy to turn the timer on and do 20 minutes of productivity and talk after. Timer, please. You got it, Exiled Fade. 20 minutes, deep focus. Let's do them words. Peter's in as well. Neo, I know you want them words. Need to lurk again? Is everything okay, Neo? Is something happening? Are you working? Wait, I actually am almost finished with the slot, so I'm just gonna finish it. Oops. So this is the, like, creative portion, at least for me, of this finished. Gonna watch Star Trek The Original Series because it's my favorite. It's a good one, Neo. Enjoy. Last Son is Ghost Pepper. I wonder who that guy is. Probably some history nerd. Last Sub, yeah. I don't know. Some guy, just some guy who just hangs out. So I don't normally do this, but this is all very short, so I'm actually going to read this. This is a thing that I think my players are going to find. I'm not sure when they will find this yet. So I've basically given my players some quests, some pieces of the world to interact with, and sort of given them the choice. For me, that was a whole whopping 398 words, but it was full concept from beginning to end, so I'm happy with it. So I've basically given my players pieces of the world to play with, and they know that their ultimate goal is to find out what happened to Cryptonia, to find out how to get this technology from Cryptonia. And so this is going to be something that they will be able to find on their travels at some point during the campaign, which will give them some context as to the fall of Cryptonia. And so I have tried to write this in a way that it gives some information about what's happening, but is also somewhat vague and not necessarily, like there are some details missing, right? So we have a journal which has little bits and pieces written by someone who experienced the fall of Cryptonia. And so the first entry says, "The Antarium appeared in the sky today. It is what many of us dreaded, but no one knows exactly what it means. Only time will tell." And then we have another entry that says, "Dawn has come again. The Antarium remains, but so do we. Like shadows, we rise from our beds and go about our business. Trade in the trade district, administration among the administrators. So many insects moving through so many familiar channels, all hoping it will always be this way. Each knowing change is on the horizon. It glows with a sinister light, and everyone that feels it cannot hope but shudder at cannot help, not hope. It glows with a sinister light, and everyone that feels it cannot help but shudder at the dark possibilities it foreshadows. I had no wish to live in times such as these." The next entry. The Teardaw is spreading. Many have given in to their growing sense of doom. If the Symmetras fall, it will all be over. We will be isolated without hope of rescue or recourse. The Antarium remains fixed in its position, the harbinger of our ultimate doom. I am not the only one who finds it difficult to believe Elianath, that's the creator goddess, would allow such a thing to happen. Curse the wretched hand of Agas, that is the war god, that strayed from the divine path he was offered. Curse Emorad, another of the gods, who corrupted him. While others may be content to flee or fall to escape whatever awaits beyond the horizon, the work continues. How can it not? The next to last entry reads, "The Antarium is gone at last, but its disappearance comes too late to offer salvation. The Symmetras have faltered. Without them, our dark fate is assured. May Alianath preserve our souls." And the final entry reads, "The death toll mounts. At last the work ceases. From stardust we come, and to stardust return." which is a prayer to the celestial mother Elianath, who this person obviously worships. Hey, adorable dreams, how are you? This is something that I'm writing for my D&D campaign, so that is something that they are going to find in the universe, hopefully. So yeah, there was a lot of stop and go during the sprint because I was creating some of these words that remove the context. And so I did mention that Grendel has, one of the players has Eyes of the Runekeeper, which if you're familiar with the Arcanums for Warlocks in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, means that he can read any language as long as he can. I think he has to be able to touch it. But what I've basically done is create some words for which there are no translations. These are most likely proper names, which is why there would be no direct translation for them. The Antarium, the Symmetris, the god names they know, those have survived into modern times, so we are essentially getting indications that the Cryptonians worshipped the same gods as the Ashvalerans. But many of these other terms are proper terms, so there will be no translation for them, so the players will have to speculate what those things mean, and using context clues, I hope that I have given them enough information that they can put together a little bit of what happened, but it still remains in mystery. There's still some vague uncertainty as to what these things might mean, so that when they read this journal that they find that was written at the time of the ending of Cryptonia, they can try and figure out what it means. And it will probably depend on what level they are when they find this information, what they've already learned, what context they already have. At this point in the campaign, we're still very early on. The characters are only level 3, and they've only had very minimal interactions with Cryptonian artifacts and Cryptonian information. So it'll be interesting to see when they stumble upon this. 3 people who are talking about books, I like, yeah, we did. I've done some evening event streams where I had friends on to talk about various different things to promote my book releases. Today is a productivity stream, so I'm actually writing something for my D&D campaign. But also this will go up on my blog for people to just check out. Do I have a command that brings up my blog? I feel like I must somewhere. But if not, I don't know my own commands. Oh my goodness. If you pop over here, you can see I put little freebies on my blog every other week. Right now we've had a block of 3 in a row because I had a bunch of blog posts that I posted in a row, so I made up for it by posting a bunch of shorts in a row. But you can find a bunch of my freebies over there. We write a bunch of them on stream, and then they get posted to YouTube, and also to the VODs get posted on YouTube, and the shorts get posted on my blog. And today we're crafting a little something that is for the blog and for the D&D campaign. So that's what I'm doing, and that's what we did during the sprint. I think what I'm gonna do, this is the portion, this is like the creative portion that they're gonna find in the campaign. I think what I'm gonna do now, because this would be a really short blog post, is I'm gonna take some of the information on Cryptonia that I've already written and put it into the blog post as well. So probably what I'm going to do is take a quick AFK, and we'll come back and do another sprint, and I will basically transpose the things that I've already written for the formatting of the blog post, and that'll be what I'll do with the rest of the productivity. So if you guys are looking forward for more sprints, I know Peter and Exiled Fae are working on stuff as well. So we'll do some more of that. Adorable Dreams, I hope you're doing well. Feel free to let me know. And I will be right back. Dad, hello! I will drink. Thank you for the hydrate. Also, how are you if you're not lurking? Do I have a summary on my blog post where I talk about why I started writing? I do! Hang on, let me switch. If you pop... if you look over here on the side where it says, welcome to the home of Megan Cutler, and click on the read more, that should take you to my about, and that's pretty much the history of why I decided to start writing. And it has a little bit of information about my early projects. No worries. Yeah, so that's sort of the extended version of oh my god, hello pie. So that's sort of the extended version of About Me. It talks a little bit about how I got into writing full time and why I also do it. I wish my story of why I started writing is more exciting, but that's pretty much the gist of it. Pie, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hydrates. Here we go. How are you, Pie? 1, 2, 3, and we'll do the last 2 with coffee, because coffee is great and wonderful. And as Peter will be pleased to note, we are drinking from Ursula this morning. 4. And 5. Nice hot fresh coffee. I'm very Pie. I hope that's a good thing, Pie. I'm doing good. It's Friday. We've written a nice little thing for my D&D campaign. I'm super excited about it, even though I have no idea how long it will take my players to actually find it in the campaign. So now I'm basically going to take some notes that I had written on the Cryptonia world before and include them, because this is very short for a blog short. So I'm going to include some of my notes about Cryptonia and Ash Valorin. So I basically want to be able to talk a bit about the campaign on my blog, the setting, and share some of the things eventually that the players have done. So basically, I did a spiel this morning about Cryptonia. It was basically a really advanced society that existed in this particular galaxy where the story takes place. But they encountered some form of cataclysmic event, which essentially caused their society to collapse. And from the ashes of that society rose Ash Valorin, where the characters live now, which is another intergalactic society, but they are slightly less advanced science and magic-wise. And so they use a series of hyperspace train networks in order to connect between planets, in order to travel between planets. But they want to break free of what they consider to be sort of a tether and a complication of their expansion and their speed of trade. And so they are trying to discover the secrets of their ancient ancestors, the Cryptonians. And that is sort of what the players have been sent to do, is to explore Cryptonian ruins and hopefully discover a way to access an ancient Cryptonian stronghold, essentially. And so I've written this, which is from the perspective of someone who experienced the fall of Cryptonia, and now I want to take some information about Cryptonia and put that in there as well. Zark, hello. Did you change your name on Twitch? Were you Shinobi before? Am I crazy because I'm so bad with names? Okay, oh my gosh. I was like, I remember Zark, but am I remembering the right Zark? I'm doing great. How are you? It is I, and I remembered your name. Look at that. And I'm talking about D&D. What is up, my friend? How's it going? So yeah, let me get my notes up so we can do another spront. So this is what I showed before at the beginning of stream, basically my notes about Ash Valorin and stuff, and I am going to take some of this and put it into the blog as well, because it's already written. Like, I may as well post it for people. I'm gonna actually just copy and paste quite a bit of this because I'm happy with it. Been good, just got done with a college team meeting. Nice! I'm glad to hear that. It's nice to see you around. We've been super busy as well. January was so much. I don't really know how January fits so much into it. I can't actually believe it's already February, but it is! Here we are! Caternator, thank you so much for the lurk. I hope you're doing well. I hope you don't have any pesky work deadlines bugging you today. How's your health holding up? So I don't know if you were around when I was talking about this at the beginning of the year. I had some stuff going on at the end of December, beginning of January. Nothing major, like I'm not dying or anything, but I have had some side effects from my pills. We've sort of figured out that today is much better. Thanks for the encouragement. I'm so glad it helps. That's what I'm here for, honestly. I hope you were able to get done relatively quickly after the stream ended so you could rest. Yeah, so I have what's called Graves' disease. For anyone who has already heard this, just feel free to zone out for a hot minute. So I have an overactive thyroid. Basically, my immune system attacks my thyroid and makes it overproduce the metabolism hormone. And back in the like mid-September time period, it was starting to make me really dizzy and just it was very hard to focus. And so my doctor was finally like, hey, we can wait and see if it settles down on its own, or we can go ahead and do treatment. And so he put me on an anti-thyroid med, which basically kicks my thyroid and says, hey, don't do that, so that it will hopefully produce the right amount of hormone. It has gone really well. After 5 weeks on the original dosage, he actually cut my dosage in half, which is great. But what we sort of figured out over Christmas is, so I have a regular routine whereby I take breaks at certain times and get drinks, right? Because that's healthy. But over Christmas break, I sort of lost track of time. I wasn't necessarily taking the regular bio breaks, and I was forgetting to drink as much water as I normally do. I stopped having my afternoon tea, and I dried out a bit. And it turns out that I think these pills that I'm on just dehydrate me a little bit faster than I normally would. And so what happened as a result of that was that my mouth was really dry and my taste got messed up. So it was a thing that I didn't really have to worry about before Adorable Dreams, but I've definitely been more on top of it now, because I've realized that if I don't drink regularly, it's actually going to have consequences. And so what happened was, one day during Christmas break, I put spaghetti sauce in the crock pot and I smelled it all day and it smelled delicious. And we sat down to dinner and I tasted nothing. It was very weird. It was very freaky. I knew I didn't have COVID because I didn't have any other symptoms. I hadn't been exposed to anyone. I work from home. I very rarely interact with people. So we knew it wasn't that. And it was very bizarre. I should link you the enormous water bottle my sister has. I wouldn't be opposed. And so it was very disconcerting to have food in my mouth, but essentially no taste, just texture. So I panicked, but also, I knew that it was a symptom of a side effect of my pills is taste loss. And I had been noticing sort of over time a muting of taste, where it seemed like things like bread and potatoes didn't really taste like much unless they had an ultra amount of seasoning on them. So I contacted my doctor and he was like, I don't have any specific advice, but it is a symptom. It is a side effect of the pills that you're on. So we knew it was that. And so Ghost and I sat down and we sort of changed some of our food preparation methods. We focus a lot on flavor. We looked at some of the brands that we were using, like we had recently switched bread. So we changed bread back to buying a different type of bread. And it turns out that the bread that we're using now has more flavor for me. I've sort of figured out that spaghetti, so I guess tomato sauce and I aren't getting along right now. Maybe something about the way my taste has changed has made it that I just don't really taste tomato sauce very much. So but if I just eat spaghetti noodles smothered in like a garlic and butter sauce, I taste that. So we've switched up some things. We're focusing on really bold flavors. I always have water with me now. I drink a ton. I feel like I drink like 4 gallons of water a day, but I make a concerted effort to drink regularly. And it has helped. There are some things that I just don't taste as much as I want to, and I've had to sort of live with that. There are certain coffees that I've had to stop drinking because they just taste like sweet hot liquid, which is sad because some of them are coffees I really like, but luckily we have a selection of coffees in the house that I can taste. I focus on them. I focus on teas that I can taste. So there was definitely an adjustment period where there was a lot of trial and error of, am I going to taste this tonight? How do I change this meal so that I can use up the sauce that I made that's sitting in the fridge that has to be eaten that I don't really taste? There was a lot of that. But I'm doing much better now. I also ate too much dairy over the holidays because I'm lactose intolerant, but sometimes I just go a little hog wild even when I take my pills. So there was some health stuff. There definitely were some days where I was not feeling the best. Part of it was my fault, inadvertently. Part of it was my fault because I ate too much dairy. But I've got my legs back under me. We've sort of found the mid-ground of what I should avoid and what I should do to make sure. I literally had a day where I thought, this is it. I'm not going to taste anything for a year. Because that's how long I'm supposed to be on these pills. But that hasn't been the case. I haven't completely lost my taste. It's just, I think what's happened is because I dry out so much, my taste sensitivity has changed. And so if something falls into that threshold of, like I'm just not sensitive to that type of taste anymore, it just doesn't taste like anything. Sometimes temperature helps. Like I have to keep my coffee hot. I have to keep my food hot because that gives it more taste. Or conversely, I have to keep the cold stuff cold. Just glad that you're doing all right and not anywhere bad. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I am doing well. Like I said, it was never this big, huge thing. I was never like in danger. But the idea of eating when you don't taste anything is really daunting. Because like that one meal that I didn't taste anything, it was really hard to eat. It was really hard to keep putting, like I was hungry, but it was hard to keep putting food in my mouth because I wasn't getting anything out of it. And so the idea of spending a whole year having to eat for necessity but getting no enjoyment out of it was really scary. But I'm very thankful and very lucky that that's not what happened. And I'm in a good place. It's taken a little while to rebuild the routine, to get used to the extras, because I am doing things like drinking more. I'm trying to get my exercise routine back to where it was as well, because I had sort of fallen off the exercise wagon. I'm also trying to eat more healthy snacks again, which is an on and off struggle. And I'm doing a couple extra things, like I'm using a antibacterial mouthwash since I know that my mouth is drying out more, just to make sure that my teeth are getting taken care of. So there's been lots of little differences in the routine to get used to, but I'm doing quite well. My doctor was really happy with my last blood test. He kept me on the same dosage of the medication, and I assume if it was going in the wrong direction, he would have upped the dosage instead. So overall, I think things are going well. It was a little blip. There was a little bit of chaos to sort out for sure. Also, just the fact that our Christmas vacation got canceled as well, so there was a lot of last-minute runaround. One of the reasons it was really easy to get out of my routine and stop drinking enough water and exercising was because there was so much chaos going on, you know? But Zark, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I hope you haven't had any health things to worry about, because health things are the worst. And yeah, I think I'm gonna do, I know we haven't done a lot of sprints today, so I think we're gonna do at least one more. I've talked a lot today. Also, I appreciate that you find my streams so cozy. That's what I'm here for, is to just be a nice, cozy space where people can hang out and chill while they get some work done, or chill while they chill. So I'll put on that timer one last time. Let me switch to clicky cam so you guys can see me typing. And I'm going to put some of my notes in here. Yeah, let's have some clicky clacky time. Exiled Faye, I hope words are going well for you. I hope you're enjoying the sprints. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad it's helping, Exiled Faye. That's what I'm here for. I like to chat and stuff too, but I want to encourage people to get their writing in. Hey, Peter, welcome back. Also, Bird of Inferno. Hello, hello. How's it going? I was able to take off today due to college class, so I'm free. Nice! It's always nice to have a free Friday. Are you up to anything in particular, or just chilling today's arc? Sorry if I missed a little bit of chat there. I was looking at my notes on. I have 2 screens. Rough week. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that, Bird of Inferno, but I hope the rough patch is behind you. I hope you're able to get a nice, relaxing weekend. I'm doing pretty good. Just working on a nice little fun thing for the blog here to introduce my homebrew campaign, my homebrew D&D campaign to my blog and to you guys. And then I'll be having an afternoon of formatting this afternoon. Today is mostly Final Fantasy XIV now that class is finished. Nice! My Residency 2 professor is kind of amazing. I'm glad to hear that, Sark. I'm unfamiliar with this word. It sounded like Friday. Friday? Fried eggs, Peter. Fried eggs. Yummy, delicious fried eggs. Hey, Jizz's Living, how's it going? Are you finished with work for the week? Currently putting off work and playing some Stardew Valley. Ooh, that's a nice chill game. Took this morning to do some yoga and go read at a coffee shop. That sounds amazing! Trying to do things to make me better. Well, I hope it's working. Yoga is a great way to clear your mind and relax. I'm planning to do some this afternoon after stream as well. So I hope that works out for you, Bird of Inferno. It's always important to take time for the quiet things that make you happy. Going pretty good. Actually didn't work this week. Nice! Not my normal job, at least. Well, I hope it's been a relaxing week then in that case. Or if you've been working on something else that is a side project, I hope it was productive. I hope it was good. No matter what you did, I hope it was good. That's the most important thing. Was working on some writing and got to relax and play some games. That sounds like a fabulous week. Just been trying to stay warm now that I finally fought off my cold I had for about a week and a half. Very important. I'm glad you fought off the cold. I hope it stays away. We just got a whole bunch of new snow here in our neck of the woods, which I'm not thrilled about, but it is what it is. should just copy this name because it's a pain in the butt to type it every time. Oh, I didn't notice that the timer ran out. We're almost finished here. I'm just basically transposing a bunch of my notes. We're only sitting at about 1,157 words total, but this is specifically being designed for my blog, and the part that actually is going to appear in the game I didn't want to make too long because that would have made it difficult for it to actually be used during the game. Flanny has redeemed the octopus. Let me just go grab him quick. Been trying to stay warm now that I fought off the cold. I got it because I took a crazy cold shower and then went out when it was cold. Oh no, my hot water isn't working. I hope you get that fixed soon. It's rough when you don't have hot water. I don't get sick often, so when I do, it hits me hard and lasts a while. I think before this last time I got sick was a year or two ago. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm sorry to hear that you were sick. That seriously sucks. Hi, Flanny. How's it going? Ooh, let me fix... I've got an octopus. In the land of snow. Oh no, is it like actively snowing right now, or did you just have a really large snowfall? We had snow earlier in the week, so I feel you. Good thing I'm not in Snowland, or it would be way worse. Yeah, we've had entirely too much snow this year. And we're in the part of Canada that doesn't usually get a bunch of snow. Look at this fabulous octopus hat. Let me get it. Let me get him situated. Centering the eyes. Boop. And let me make sure the tentacles are properly and fabulously curling. They get a little straight when they sit on each other. There we go. For anyone who didn't know before, this was made by the fabulous It's Woof. With his bare hands, he crafted me this octopus hat. I chose the colors, but he followed the pattern and did all the stuff. It is amazing. We have almost 2 feet of snow on the ground, and the current temperature is minus 25 C. No, Flanny, I'm sending you warm thoughts. I hope you are staying inside under blankets, warm and safe from the cold. My area is going into a mild state of emergency over the cold this weekend. Oh no! Exiled Faye, you also please stay warm under blankets. Be home, be safe. It's about 16 C and I'm freezing because for here that is so cold. I mean, 16 C is pretty cold. It's not minus 25, but it's pretty cold. So I don't know what it is here. It is... That's in Fahrenheit. That's not helpful to me. It is 2 degrees Celsius, apparently. Feels like 0. Wind 9 kilometers per hour. Humidity 60%. That's high for here. And on Sunday, we're supposed to get some light rain on top of snow. Oh, joy. I wouldn't go anywhere in that either. I mean, generally, if a place is doing a state of emergency, it's because you shouldn't really be out and about. Do you feel there's anything missing in how people characters are done in stories usually? Hey, Flutter! Yes! It looks fabulous, doesn't it? That's a really contextual question, Adorable Dreams. I do think there are types of characters that aren't done well. I've mentioned before that I think the modern concept of the ancient concept of tricksters has kind of gotten lost to our modern society. I don't think we really understand how the trickster god trope really works. Because we think that characters have to be good or evil, whereas the trickster is very neutral. and sort of the moment, which is not something that we do, not a character type that we write a lot. I think characters who are not very emotional but aren't bad people, like people who sort of keep their emotions very close and don't really open up a lot, oftentimes get written as though they're just assholes, and that's not always the case. But I think any type of character can be well written or well utilized. It just depends, right? Some forms of media, some stories do better than others, essentially. Our average temp is like 20C to 30C most of the year, so I can't take 16. Yeah, if you're used to it being pretty hot, that's like Woof, who made this lovely hat. Lives in Texas, so if there's like a cool breeze, he just full body cover up because it's freezing. Flutter, how are you, by the way? How's it going? I think I'm just going to transpose one more set of notes from my Google Doc over to this blog post, and then I will call it finished. And it's just going to be about the intergalactic hyperspace train network. Just relaxing before work. Glad to hear it. How's work been going, by the way? I know you said you were training for barback. That is great news. I'm in South Texas, so it's even more so that I can't do cold because North Texas gets snow and ice, but that doesn't happen here. Yeah, I think Wolf lives in the part that doesn't get the snow and ice as well. Also, in Texas, your houses aren't even, like, made for the cold. Like, up here, everything is insulated and, like, everything is designed to protect the house from the cold. But in southern Texas, it's not like that. I grew up where it was cold, Michigan, but then spent 2 years living in or near the tropics, and those first winters back in cold places were harsh. I feel you. It was hard when we went to England for a year and didn't see a snowflake, and then we came back to Canada and we were like, what is this garbage that's falling from the sky? And we used to live in Quebec, northern Quebec. We were used to minus 30C for, 4 months. But now, if it hits minus 30 here, we're just like, nope, not built for this anymore. Intergalactic space train. Yeah, that's how people get around in this D&D homebrew campaign that I made. Still just hosting most of the time? Yeah, hopefully you'll get to do... Hopefully they'll, like, phase you into the other shifts. I know that kind of stuff takes time. It's nice to take these development notes and actually use them for something that people will get to see. Oh my gosh, we're actually about to wrap up soon, but hello, welcome in. How's it going? I was working on your stream this morning before I started. Shout out Comf. How was work? Is it lunchtime? The Simple Sprinkle, hello. Alistair VD, hello. Welcome in. Rowan Asterisk, hello. Yes, this was made for me by a friend, also friend of stream. It's Woof. The octopus hat is a channel redeem, currently in progress. I figure I'll just wear it to the end of the stream since it was so close to the end. Ryan Maxine, hello. Welcome in. Thank you for the shout out. It's lunchtime. Nice. Any particular plans for food, Comf? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna say your name horribly wrong. Is it Jose? Thank you so much for the follow. I'm not going to mangle your last name. Please let me know how to say it. I don't want to. I'm so bad with names. I don't want to mangle anything. Writing is going really well. We've been talking about my homebrew D&D campaign setting, Tales of Cryptonia. And I've basically just written up a little bit of a blog post, which has a fiction that my characters are going to find in campaign at some point during their explorations. And it also includes some information about the setting in which the base campaign is taking place so that I can use some of my development notes. And it's been very fun and interesting. This campaign is basically Indiana Jones in space, so it is sort of a intergalactic planetary civilization with technology on the level of what you might find in Fallout. So it's sort of like that 1970s idea of space travel. And instead of using spaceships to travel between worlds, they use a hyperspace train network. And there's already been one attempted train heist already during the campaign, because of course there was. Please don't worry, I don't expect people to be fluent in Spanish. It's very important to me to pronounce people's names correctly, so if I say anything wrong, please do correct me. But thank you so much for the follow, I really appreciate it. Got a microwavable meal, nice! Nice! I have some leftovers in the fridge, but I might save them for the weekend. I might do like a turkey sandwich today. I do have a tea warmer. My mug is a little too tall for it, but now I've drunk down to the point where it's working pretty well. You had me at trains. Yes, yeah, hyperspace trains. The idea behind why I wanted to do it this way is, so I mentioned this at the beginning of stream, but I fiddled around a little bit with how spells actually work in this campaign. So for instance, for reasons that the players are not yet entirely sure about, necromantic magic doesn't work entirely properly. So higher level resurrection spells like True Resurrect or Raise Dead actually don't work. You can't bring someone back from the dead unless you use that 1 minute window to cast Revivify. That seems to be the only resurrection spell that actually works right now in Cryptonia, because something has caused the rest of the magic to go wrong. So healing spells work, but resurrection spells don't. Healing spells usually fall under necromancy in the D&D schools of magic. Also, interdimensional teleportation doesn't really work. And so the only way to get from plane to plane or planet to planet is through this hyperspace train network. And eventually it's going to force my players to make choices based on train routes and passage of time, and how quickly they want to get to a place. And the players have already decided that they want to try to bypass the regular travel network in order to find a secret location. So those are the sort of things that that is kind of the reason why the trains exist. It's already been an adventure. Yes, Flutter is one of my players. Yeah, instantly the players were like, we want to go to a place, but we don't want to go through official channels. And I'm like, excellent. I have potato gratin and 4 cheese macaroni. Oh, I'm jealous, Peter. I can't eat 4 cheeses. Gonna rest a little bit with my lunch. If you're still on and I'm back, I'll be here. Comf, I'm probably gonna go eat my lunch in a few minutes as well, but I really appreciate the raid. Please enjoy your lunch. Get some rest. I know you've been working hard this morning. Your streams are always so comfy, cozy, and inspirational to me, so thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the love. And yeah, to everyone who came over on the Comf raid, sorry that we're pretty much done with the productivity portion of the stream today, because it is just about lunchtime. It's a little after 1 here. So I apologize that we won't be sticking around longer, but we will find someone who is also doing comfy cozy productivity to go drop a raid on. Thanks, Zark. I can't take any credit for the hat. I only picked the colors. Woof did all of it. So I will do a shout out. He doesn't stream very often, but I'll do a shout out for It's Woof. He is the one who made this hat. Show him some love. He's one of the players in Winds of Chaos. He's also on the Discord if you want to @Woof, just plain Woof, to show him some love for the hat. So yeah, for all the people who are new to the stream, I'm Megan Cutler. I am a science fiction and fantasy writer, if you can't already tell. If you hit !books, you can get a link to the books that I have available on Amazon. I currently have, I actually only have 1 series in progress right now, which is The Celestial Serenade. It is a space opera. It has a vast and sweeping galactic setting, but it focuses on the interactions between specific characters and what's going on in their lives. There are 6 books for that already available. The 7th book, Smooth Jazz, is due to come out on February 13th. I'm actually, after I wrap up this stream, I'm going to go format that book for pre-order upload, because I just got the cover from my cover artist. I'm super excited about it. So check that out. I also have my most recent finished series was Eternity's Empire. It's basically magical girls in space. It's very heavily mythologically inspired, kind of very Sailor Moon-y. It focuses on a group of goddesses who are inspired by various mythologies, who are essentially fighting an intergalactic war. So check that out. Very cool. This is like first stream I followed without knowing what it is, just because of the name, Comf, and there's a pixel bear. Oh, Comf is so comfortable, and Burr is amazing. Definitely worth being checked out. When I'm not streaming productivity, I'm usually hanging out in Comf's productivity streams, just so you guys know. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Like I said, if you hit !books, you can check out my books that I have available, or if you'd like to read something, just a little preview of what I write to see if it's for you, check out megancutler.net. It's that URL that's right there beside my frame here. That's where you find my blog. I post shorts on there every other week, and you can also preview a couple chapters from the books that I have out to see if anything interests you. I have a high fantasy series I have 2 high fantasy series that I'm working on right now that have not started publication yet. One is going to start publishing later this year, and one is going to start publishing next year. So that's me. That's just a little bit about me. Also, for the regulars who may have missed it when I mentioned this earlier in the stream, there's a new area of the Discord called Dahmer and Hangout. Dahmer is the main character in my Aravalia Chronicles, which we've been working on since I started streaming, pretty much, here on the channel. He is the one who is on my BRB screen. He is the one in my bit emotes. My cute little grump. If you want to talk to him on Discord, you can type in the Dahmer and Hangout area and he might answer. And it might be fun. Rowan Astros, thanks so much for the follow. Dahmer in his love, Dahmer in his life. I'm pleased that you feel that way. I have no choice but to feel that way because he lives in my head, so. So yeah, oh, I stopped mid-sentence. I guess I should finish this sentence. Alright, so I really only did 1,600 words today, but it was fun. It was repurposing some notes that I've already done, creating a little something for my players to find in universe. I'm really excited to seed that somewhere into my campaign and see how it goes, see when they find it and what they do with it. For now, I'm gonna do the healthy thing and go get some food. I wish I could hang out with you guys all day, but I sadly cannot. Let's see who is up to what antics today. Let's see what Supernatural is doing. We have not dropped in on her in a while. Another person who does lots of Pomodoros. Super comfy to hang out with. Let's go over and drop her some love. Another friend of the stream who drops by quite often. Ooh. Just need to wait for the ads to go so that I'll be able to hear her. Thank you guys for hanging out. Like I said, I'm sorry I can't stick around longer. My stomach is starting to do the rumbly tumbly, so gotta do the healthy thing. But I appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out. I will be back next week. I don't know quite what my schedule will be. I will update if you look in the tabs down below on Twitch, there's a schedule section. I always try and keep that schedule up to date. And there's also a little timer that will count down to the next stream. It's going to be slightly inaccurate right now because I haven't updated it for next week, but we will do 2 writing streams next week. Probably at least one of them will be Aravalia Chronicles. One of them might be Everyone's Child. It just depends. And my 3rd stream for next week is I'm going to be making labels for... I did this once before. I make these really pretty chapter labels for the books in the Celestial Serenade for the paperbacks. But I have to make them letter by letter because it's not actually a font that my cover artist uses for the cover and making it all pretty. So we'll do just a chill stream where we turn on some music and I make some chapter labels and we just talk. And we'll do that sometime during the week. So those 3 things will be happening. And I will update everybody to let you know when that is occurring. So let's raid Supernatural Writer. And of course I will mention Comf as well when we get over there. Thank you so much again for the raid. Thank you everyone for hanging out. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the Star Trek talk and just the general geek chat. You guys know I love that. Thank you for adoring the octopus with me. Oh, you're wonderful, Comf, and all of you are wonderful. Thank you so, so much. Every time I do one of these streams, I'm reminded how awesome this community is and why I'm here and why I hang out with you all. Please feel free to use any emotes, by the way. If you don't have my emotes, fill in any emotes that make you happy. It's all about spreading the love, and Supernatural is one of the loveliest people on Twitch. She's just always energetic and happy and kind. So please give her some love as well. I will be back next week. Until then, I hope you all take care, relax, and I hope the words flow for you if you're doing words or other creative endeavors. Until I see you again, please take care. I love you all.